Hi, my name is Jason Underwood and I'm going to show you how to efficiently design a NobelProcera custom abutment. So when the scan gets loaded into the design software, it has our positioning locators, and all we want to do is basically check to make sure they're aligned properly. From there we want to identify which side is our buccolingual, mesial, distal. And then we want to design our margin of our abutment. So I like to make the model solid so I can just see it a little bit clearer. And I usually start interproximal. Now on the lingual, I tend to stay right on the top of the ridge, and mainly that's a clinical decision. Now it's important that you talk to your customers and find out exactly where they want their margins set. Some doctors will like them in different areas. You want to make sure that you give yourself enough handles so that you can design a nice contoured abutment, but at the same time you don't want to design or put in too many handles, which will crowd your abutment. So there we go. Make it transparent again so I can see. Now I'll click on the most anterior abutment. I like to always start with the most anterior abutment, and I'll show you why in a second. But what I want to do is I want to take it out of linear and take it into free form. And the reason being is that allows me to use the expand to gum tissue or expand to gum feature, which really helps in the contour of the abutment. So I'll come over to the second abutment. Change it to freeform, expand to gum. Now, you're not always going to have a nice sulcus like this, so if you need to manipulate this, you can turn off the magnetize button, and this will allow you to freeform and free design a contoured abutment. Now, I would suggest that you open up your 2D viewer, and that'll really give you a nice view of what kind of pressure you're putting on the tissue or what design you're actually getting in there. Now you can still adjust the marginal heights on the abutment so you're not restricted. Okay, so now I want to get into design the actual top of the abutment. So first thing I want to do is I put it into fixed post angulation, and the reason I do that is because when I put them into a parallel group, it automatically creates a fixed post angulation. So I might as well start working off in that scenario. Now I want to align it up with the adjacent tooth, and basically lining up the center of the abutment with it. Now again, I always want to start off with the most anterior abutment, and the reason being is when I open up my paralleling and I put the most anterior crown into group 1, or into the first group, and I put the second one into the same group, you can see it automatically parallels the second one to the first one. And obviously the most anterior crown is going to be the most aesthetic crown, so we want to get that as centered as possible. So from there I would fine-tune the parallel a little bit, just to kind of balance it out between the two abutments. On multiple unit cases, this can save you literally hours of time versus grinding stock abutments or trying to parallel using paralleling tools or whichever. So after I have those parallel the best I can, I take the fixed post angulation off, and I can start contouring the actual emergence profile of the abutment. Now a nice little trick that I found is if you keep your handles farther back, it creates a very sharp edge on your abutment, but if you bring your handles out, it actually creates a nice round profile to your abutment, which helps because sometimes you get them back and they can be quite sharp. So if I want to move this a little bit forward, and simply do that. The center handle here, this will round off the top as well, and that will cut off some of the sharp edges. bringing a little bit of taper to the abutment. Now something else I'd like to do, and I do this for most abutments, is the shoulder, the margin radius is automatically set at 5. I tend to go with a 0.4 or a 0.35, but you'll find which one works best for you. So I just go back and set those to both of them. So I'm going to define my most anterior abutment a little bit more, and one way is doing that is increasing the post level curves. And you can see that gives me a second row of handles. Now with those handles I can actually contour the lingual side of the abutment a little bit more, just to give us a little bit more room for the final restoration. So I'm happy with the most anterior crown here, the 1-1. There's another feature that I think is underutilized. It is the color coding. In the color coding there's undercuts, and if I click that on, it'll actually show me where I have undercuts on my abutments. Now I'm not too concerned if that undercut is there, but I don't want it to cover up my marginal area. Now in the Procera software, when you're doing your final restoration, the software will automatically block that undercut out, so you don't have to be too concerned, as long as, like I said, it's not covering up the marginal area. So I'm going to modify the second abutment, and I'll try to maximize retention by keeping it as parallel as possible without creating as many undercuts. Now these abutments are available in Nobel Replace, Nobel Active, Brandmark, Straumann, as well as Astra. And that's both materials, so that's titanium and zirconia. So with a little bit of fine tuning, that's how I would efficiently design a multiple abutment case.